You're listening to the AfterBuzz TV network, now the largest new media platform on the web, and your #1 source for after-show entertainment.
AfterBuzz Studios in Los Angeles, California. Presented by Maria Menounos and streaming live thanks to Akamai Technologies. This is AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show. We'll break down tonight's episode and get you all the latest news and gossip. And now, another post-game wrap-up show for your favorite TV show. It's AfterBuzz TV's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show.
Hey there, gang. You know what time it is. You're an Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. fan, and it's Tuesday night. You popped some popcorn, you watched your favorite TV show, and now you're here for the Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. After Show here on AfterBuzz TV. I am Matt Lieberman, and joining me, as always, on the panel are the fantastic Miss Megan Salinas.
Hi, guys. How's it going?
The insightful and talented Miss Kristen Carroll.
Hey, guys.
And the fabulous Miss Joyce Ajuri.
Hi.
All right, so the episode is Season 1, Episode 7, The Hub. Another solid episode in a run of solid episodes. We got to see some real expansion of Fitz, who, while we saw a lot of him emotionally last week, we didn't really get to feel him as an action hero and see him really step up. It was a natural evolution for his character, and I loved it.
Because a lot of people have been complaining, like, why are him and Simmons on this team?
Yep.
And last week we figured out why Simmons was, and this week we figured out more why Fitz was.
Yeah.
He did pretty well.
This was, excuse me, this was a really good follow-up to last week, too, because he keeps referencing it, and, he really does feel like he has something to prove after failing to jump out of the plane last week. So.
And we saw, obviously, a much tougher side of him, a more driven side instead of that, dorky, clumsy. It was nice to see that more, agenty side of him.
Yeah, and he tells Ward to his face,
exactly.
I am every much the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent you are.
Yeah.
Damn right. I was a big fan of that. We also got some nice movement on the Coulson front. His doubts have thoroughly taken root.
Yeah.
And I love that. Skye is still chafing at being kind of shunted to the side. And so let's talk about I was gonna talk Coulson first, but we're already in the Ward Fitz discussion, so let's jump in. So a lot of fans didn't necessarily agree with our potential floating out there of the Ward Simmons thing.
I'm sad. I kind of like it.
I
know Sky Tunnel and all that is going to...
Skyward. The Sky Tunnel is completely different.
I think the Sky Tunnel needs to just stay here. I'm ashamed that we threw that out into the internet.
You don't have to blame yourself. It was me. I threw it out into the internet. You don't have to blame yourself for the lives that have been hurt and cursed. But even though the audience didn't seem to jump on it the way that we did, jump on it. Anyway, I feel like Fitz, after last episode and the way that he's feeling about Ward jumping out of the plane, maybe he sensed it a little bit too. Not necessarily that Ward and Simmons have chemistry, but that, he doesn't feel like, he feels emasculated.
Yeah.
He feels emasculated, and I think his feelings for Gemma have only solidified since he realized he was about to lose her and what that would really mean for him.
Well, and we saw at the end of last episode, she kissed him on the cheek, and he sat there for a little bit thinking about that. So I'm sure that whole combination on top of it, and he's like, wait a minute. That was my woman.
Yeah, this is something that's taken apparently years to sink in. That's only now
I feel like a lot of men do that.
Well, I love it. I love how he wants to be that protective, aside from Ward, he's the only guy, and Coulson, who's,
he's the only guy
not on the
human.
same level as those two.
Yeah.
Right. Aside from Ward, Fitz is the only other guy on that ship that, is on Simmons' level, and he wants to be that protective one. He doesn't want to give that responsibility to Ward, because, we know he has feelings for her.
How funny were they in the hub, by the way, both Simmons and Fitz this time?
So funny. I loved Simmons when she was so nervous after, that whole wall panel thing.
Oh, yeah.
Fitz
That was
the
so
door.
funny. Oh, yeah.
We were just having a lot of trouble this week.
It closes on him.
I loved that. He pushes the card through, and then he's just you see him mouth, unbelievable.
Yeah.
Great.
That was good.
Yeah. So the whole point of this episode, we have them go to the hub where, I don't know if this is like main S.H.I.E.L.D. HQ, or is it just like an international spot for everybody to sync up and go on missions on the Eastern Hemisphere?
I tend to think it's more of one of the main one. I was looking up, and again, Marvel fans can correct me if I'm wrong, but online at least, because that's always correct on the internet, Simmons said something about Triskelion, if I'm saying that correctly. She's like, oh, you should see Triskelion. Triskelion, thank you. And so I'm like, oh, what is this?
Yeah.
So I looked it up, and it said it was the S.H.I.E.L.D. headquarters.
Okay.
So I think that's going to be something that's huge.
Yeah.
And
That's gonna blow our minds.
Yeah, I imagine that if this was like the headquarters, Fury would be there in some capacity.
Nick Fury, yeah.
I think we'll probably see it in the next Captain America movie, because that's all focused on him being in S.H.I.E.L.D. and you have more of the top guys, the Black Widow and all of that. So.
Right. Robert Redford, whoever he's playing.
Yeah, who's
Romanoff
apparently
in this episode.
Yeah, and they mentioned both of them.
Yeah.
That they never have an extraction plan. So it was kind of, it was one nod to the Avengers, and it was actually a lot less than what we've seen in the past.
And actually, I hate to, go off rails for a second, but that opening scene where Coulson's getting interrogated by the Russian agents, I was like, this feels a lot like the scene where Agent Romanoff in the Avengers is getting interrogated.
If he had his shoes off.
Speaking of that
dress.
scene, how badass was Agent May's like spinning wheel move? I thought that was so cool.
Oh, yeah.
Such a testament to her like
She
power.
needs at least one moment to kick butt in every episode,
True.
or we will not be happy.
True story. We will boycott.
Yeah. So Ward and Fitz, it's not necessarily the most natural pairing in my mind, because it's like, well, okay, what do they talk about? Because they and we see that early on in their interaction. Ward has no interest in Fitz's stories. He's telling this story about Simmons in this bunny suit, and she sneezes, and it's very dry in there. And anyway, she tells that story better. It's fine.
It's a great odd couple pairing.
Yeah, which was like fun. Which was fun on the one hand, but then also to see Fitz continually be underestimated by Ward and then pull through in these amazing ways was so very necessary for the episode to succeed. When they go looking for Yuri, their contact to get across the border, and the folks there, Yuri's dead, and they take him hostage. And, unbeknownst to Ward, Fitz is playing the situation from the moment they got captured, used his localized EMP, saw how they were enjoying the football game, knocked it out. And I'm talking about European football. Knocked out the electricity, and then used his, wunderkind technology abilities, bring everything back. They're indebted to him, and now he sees them as people. He's like, he doesn't want them to die if these separatists set off this horrifying overkill weapon, which, like, did I see it literally vaporize 2 guns the first time it was fired?
Yeah.
That's
it did.
effing awesome.
That was very cool.
And he knew how to use that thing.
Really
Right
good
away.
Well, I think
Well, that's the thing with nerdy guys. They don't always have the biggest weapons, but they know how to use them, and they care about who they use them on.
that's what she said.
Yeah. That's what
By she, I meant Simmons.
Ever.
or it's what she will say. Yeah. We hope. Eventually. Eventually she'll say it.
Give it time. Give it time.
Yeah. Let it simmer. It'll simmer, and then it'll boil eventually.
I actually kind of underestimated Fitz as well, as Ward did, in terms of the fact that I think he could handle all of these things, but I didn't expect him to be sitting there and turn off all the power and everything like that. That surprised me.
Like to be 5 steps ahead of
exactly.
the whole situation.
I know he can solve stuff, so I figured once a problem
arose
that way, I didn't think he was the one that planted it.
Totally. Like, that was the thing that impressed me the most, was how serious his attitude was. I'm in the field. I'm trying to stop deaths. I'm trying to stop potentially war from breaking out. This is on me. I'm taking it seriously. And, he until a couple weeks ago was my least favorite character on the show, because I'm just like, this bumbling jackass. Like, what does he offer to the team? Oh, he's the tech expert. No. This guy knows what his job is. He is glad he's on the side of right, and he is an utter asset to this team, no matter what situation you put him in. I was very, very impressed.
I mean, even Coulson was skeptical about putting him in that situation.
Yeah, he had that weird smile on his face.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was specifically weird. Like his lips weren't showing, but it was like a...
That's because he might be a robot and it doesn't all function correctly.
It's true.
He's glitching out a little bit here and
Even
there.
being more of a robot than usual.
But ultimately, our heroes got out of trouble. We have to talk about the sandwich. So, this...
What does it mean?
What does the sandwich mean?
Pesto aioli just
It sounded really good.
amazing.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, pesto aioli is
Prosciutto
amazing.
is already...
Yeah. And I'm
With
sure
a buffalo mozzarella.
buffalo mozzarella and probably a very nice...
What kind of bread? Oh my God, they
Very
didn't
nice- They
specify.
actually-
I know, it's all about the
Did
bread.
they?
No, but
Ciabatta?
but
I don't know.
any sandwich is all about the
They
bread.
actually
True.
tweeted a picture of the sandwich. Again, if you don't follow these guys on Twitter, they're hilarious.
Is
They
it just
tweet
like
when they're on the set.
Is it just like an
Let me see if I
Italian
can find
hoagie
it.
roll? I'll be
hope
so
not.
disappointed.
I hope
It was
not.
more of like it looked like something out of Panera. You know,
crusty
it looked,
artisan
go
bread.
there.
it looks legit.
Like a panini or something.
It wasn't really a panini, but it was a nice roll that was cut off.
Yeah.
It was more of a white bread of some sort. It wasn't wheat. You know,
I was
it probably
so-
wasn't the
Can
healthiest
we make
sandwich,
these
but it was
potlucks
tasty.
from now on? Because that sounds
These
really,
episodes are
really good.
potlucks. I'm down. We
I'd
can
say
have
next
themed
week
dishes.
we all come with buffalo mozzarella prosciutto pesto aioli sandwiches.
Oh my god! But just a little aioli.
Just a
not
hint.
too
You have
much.
to have the right
and it has to be
amount.
homemade.
Yeah.
Yes. And I was bummed that Ward threw it away.
I know.
Like I thought the way that scene was gonna go down was he was gonna tuck into his sandwich and Ward would be like, "You're not gonna give me some," but no. Fitz offers the sandwich and he throws it away like it's garbage, and then Fitz just whines about it for the rest of the episode.
I was expecting Simmons to present him with another sandwich when he got back. I was expecting that.
Oh,
Well,
no,
and
he has
it
to
was-
watch his waistline.
He's tiny.
Aioli's fatty.
Oh, I don't know if
true.
you can catch this, but here's what the bread looks like.
yum.
It kind of looks like a almost like a French baguette.
It's like a hoagie roll. It's not special bread.
I don't know. It looks good.
It still looks
making me
delicious.
hungry.
I'll eat that.
Great. I'm sure it's great. I'm sure it's a great sandwich. Okay. Really quickly, we're gonna talk about Coulson, but I just want to quickly talk about iTunes. Everybody, thank you so much for those of you who have reviewed us or rated us on iTunes. We really appreciate it. It's just one of those things, right? If we're gonna make this show and we're gonna do it for free, one of 50 or 60 shows that AfterBuzz TV puts out every week, we put out a ton of free content. How do we make your favorite show, our favorite show to do, stick out in the ratings, stick out in the lineup, and have people be able to search for it really easily? I'll tell you how. You go on iTunes, you slap us with a 5-star rating, you tell us what you love, who you love on this wonderful, beautiful panel, which is everyone, obviously. But, yeah, Joyce is pointing to her like,
I mean...
okay, hotshot. 2 weeks on the
Sky.
job.
Newbie.
Yes.
It's like our Sky.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Who's got 2 thumbs and is an awesome podcaster? This guy.
This guy. But anytime that you do that, it helps our bosses know that we're doing a great job, helps people find the show that much easier. I don't know much about SEO, search engine optimization, but I know that shows that get a lot of ratings do well, and they're easier to find. Or just keep commenting on the YouTube. I did kind of disappear this week, and I apologize, but tomorrow, I don't know if I mentioned this at the top of the show, I did get surgery today, so I'm going to be at home in front of a computer all day. So
We told you to stay away from those Siberian prisons, Matt.
yeah. I just
No
can't
good.
get enough of those sweaty Siberian prisoners.
Well, we
need
can't
to
bail
have
you
an
out every single
intervention.
time.
I
Just
know.
saying.
And I got a ganglionectomy out of it, so I'm happy. But I'm going to be in front of my computer all day tomorrow, so if you want to talk with me on YouTube or tweet at me about the show tonight, please do, because I'm going to be very bored. I'm going to be bedridden.
And we apologize. We tried replying to some of the YouTube comments, but
Yeah, we had some weird glitches, like comments wouldn't show up, or
Or they
like,
wouldn't have a reply button for it. And I think it was they added the Google Plus and
Yeah.
everything like that. So some of them, I was trying to answer somebody. It's like, you are not allowed to answer this. It's like, okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
Apparently, I'm not level 8.
there
So.
you have to be a certain level of a Google employee, Section 8.
Exactly. We all have to be level 8 in order to be able to reply to your comments, but still, please send them. And if you don't have YouTube or iTunes, you can also email info@AfterBuzzTV.com. Marvel's Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. kicks butt. Subject line. Let us know, let our bosses know how much you love the show. We do see it, we do read it, we do appreciate it.
Make one or all of these things your good deed for the day.
Yes. We're coming up on Thanksgiving. We're trying to be peace and goodwill towards men. That's Christmas.
Or you can just send us some turkey. That's cool, too.
You could also send us one of those sandwiches.
Cornbread.
That sounds really good.
Yes.
Send us a Groupon to Bay City's Italian Deli and we'll call it square. Okay. So, Agent Philip Coulson. He has had doubts. They have crept up, and now they're fully formed in his head. Anytime that he hears Tahiti, it just sticks in his craw. Something's wrong.
He even has trouble saying it
Yeah.
now. He's
Yeah.
like,
He struggled a little.
magical place.
It's a magical place, which, like, to me felt like a red herring, like, ooh, it was Doctor Strange that brought him back to life, or some other magic person. I'm
But
like, no.
It's been what he's been saying, and
Yeah.
it's just he doesn't believe in it anymore. He doesn't have that confidence, that was there, a couple episodes ago.
Right. Well, in this version of the Marvel Universe, magic isn't real. Magic is just technology that we don't understand yet. It's true. It's the Asgardian stuff. It's all technology that is just beyond our reach. But he's dealing with that, but he's also dealing with Ms. Hand, Felicia Hand?
Victoria
Hand. Sorry, guys, I'm on painkillers. Victoria Hand.
You can call her whatever you want then, Matt.
Okay. Mr. Hand, Ms. Hand, the hand of God, the hand of fate, the long arm of the law. She is, she's running this op. She doesn't give him all the details that he needs. She doesn't tell him that there's no exit strategy for Ward and Fitz. Super messed up,
Yeah.
Victoria,
Not
just so
cool.
you know. And we're kind of seeing how the way that this team functions and the way that S.H.I.E.L.D. functions, two very different things. And the fact is, Coulson likes the way that he's able to run the bus.
Yeah.
He likes that everyone knows everything. They're on the same page. They trust each other. They're a family. But he also has that other side of his brain, which is like, trust the system. Trust the system because it works. The world hasn't ended yet.
And I think he was saying that more to convince himself than necessarily to convince anybody else.
Trust the system.
I think it started out as just, Sky, shut up, trust the system, to trust.
Yeah.
Well,
Dang
that's
it.
because he was in the know, and he was saying that when he's not in the know as much anymore, it's harder to say trust the system. And
Especially
when in
it's
doubt,
about him.
exactly. When in doubt, go talk to Melinda May.
Yeah. Go talk to her while she's doing
Talk
her Tai Chi.
to her.
Yeah.
Their conversation.
Everything will become clear.
Well, she's a great sounding board, especially if a board is all you're looking for, because she doesn't really feel the need to talk. She's busy doing her Tai Chi. And I love that scene. It was just pure fun.
They're close. They know each other. He obviously understands her and vice versa, and they know how to communicate
Yeah.
in many ways, many different ways.
Well, don't you find that the more you get to know somebody, the less you actually have to sometimes communicate to them? You just
Definitely.
know what they're thinking. It's like, I knew you were going to say that. Sometimes you just need somebody to say it. In this case, that's not Melinda's thing. So her just rolling her eyes kind of is her, which non-expression is it? I think Sky said to her, which is very, very true so far.
Funny and true. So ultimately, he bucks protocol and he's like, no, family first. We're getting these guys out of there. How dare you send my team on a suicide mission? You didn't tell me. Messed up. I'm going to take care of business because I'm in charge. And thankfully, they were able to save Fitz and Ward and get that whole thing squared away. We're definitely going to see, like, it's becoming a theme now, 2 episodes in a row. When he was talking to Titus Welliver last week, Agent Blake, and now this episode, the way that Phil likes to run his team is very much against protocol. And I'm wondering, how long is it going to be before someone at S.H.I.E.L.D. tries to take it away from him?
Yeah, you can only go like that for so long before you step on someone's toes. And, with all the people at S.H.I.E.L.D., you made the point last week that everybody at S.H.I.E.L.D., is in the position that they're in for a reason, and they don't like being told what to do.
Yeah.
And so, like, when Coulson's here sort of going rogue. Not really going rogue, but doing things his own way. People are like, oh, no. You
sit back down.
You kind of see that.
Down, boy.
You kind of see that with Victoria Hand. Like, she's kind of, you could tell she was thinking about, like...
Talk to the Victoria Hand.
Well, she was impressed. She definitely respected them for being able to go in and, pull their team out. But at the same time, it's like, that's going to cause some issues later on. They're going to butt heads on a number of things.
And then there was that other agent, I couldn't remember his name, the bald guy. All
I could think about...
Sitwell.
Sitwell.
Jasper Sitwell.
Yeah. All I could think about was that he was on The Americans last season, and he was super good, and I miss him on that show. Sorry.
Aww.
I know.
He works for S.H.I.E.L.D. now. It's okay.
Okay, I guess he got a promotion. Yeah.
Big one.
I'm sure they offer a great pension plan.
Sure. If you don't die from a myriad of crazy sci-fi, whatever McCall stuff, bang, bang.
Could you imagine what it's like trying to insure S.H.I.E.L.D. agents?
No.
I don't think they get insurance.
That's a good web series. Like all these shows, they do like these branded tie-in web series. That would be a fun one of just like the medical office or like the HR office of S.H.I.E.L.D. and all the headaches they have to
Could
deal
you imagine
with.
like Coulson applying for like Obamacare?
Jeez.
Why isn't this website working?
They have needs too,
We've got
guys.
20 agents working on this. Why isn't this website working yet?
All right. So Coulson brings us into the next topic I want to talk about, which is Skye. So she's pressuring him. She's like, we're at the hub. There's got to be something about my parents here. There's got to be something, let me in there. Let me do this. And he's like, yeah, chill.
Yeah.
Chill. Slow your roll. I'm going to find it for you. Don't get ahead of yourself. Don't break any laws. And of course, Skye is like, I'm Skye. I'm more important than the rules. This is what I want, and I'm going to do it because I'll never get caught.
It's like a representation of half of our generation.
Pretty much. It's not a pretty picture.
Computer savvy, kind of thinks they're above everything.
We're kind of entitled, yeah.
Was I the only one, though? I mean, my train of thought went this way. You know how Agent Coulson said something like, well, this is your badge. He was pointing to her bracelet. Mm-hmm. And he said, this means you're not even close to being level 1. And I was thinking, if she's not even level 1, then how is she even in the hub? If
she's a prisoner. She can't leave.
Well, the second she tried to go anywhere, she got stuck to a wall.
Exactly. But I mean, for someone who's that low and on
right.
the level scheme or whatever,
I
just thought it was very, I don't know, like it was too much for someone who's not even level 1 to be in the hub.
Well, I also think in terms of kind of what we learn at the end that Coulson, or I'm getting a little ahead of myself, but knows more. I think they're just keeping an eye on her. Mm-hmm. I mean, not that she's an enemy, but keep your friends close, but your enemies closer. But if she's possibly a threat or she came from a threat, they want to watch out for her.
Yeah, what are they going to do? Drop her back off in Texas where she can, hack into their systems
and live in her van.
And hack into Miles' jeans.
Now she knows too much, and she already told him in one of the other previous episodes, there's nothing you can do to stop me from looking. Yeah. So he might as well keep a leash on her.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Literally, basically, and not have her go out there. Because she goes out there, now she knows all these things.
She knows about the list, for God's sake.
And there are a couple people now that, know that she's a part of this team. I don't remember the millionaire's name from the episode from a couple episodes ago.
Douchey McDouchington III.
We can call him that, yeah.
Sure.
But, he's rich and powerful. The second, somebody pops up without S.H.I.E.L.D.'s protection, I imagine that he probably wouldn't hesitate.
Yeah, he wouldn't bat an eye trying to take her out.
Well, and if he has all those connections as well because he is so powerful, who's to say he wouldn't be like, I'll help you get into S.H.I.E.L.D. to find your parents if you help me take down S.H.I.E.L.D. in the process.
Right.
I mean, how easy is that as a villain?
Yeah.
Super easy.
Too easy.
Yeah.
We deserve better. All right, so what we do find out ultimately is that the document in question wasn't necessarily about her parents. It was about the S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, a woman who dropped her off. Might be her mother, might just be a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, which kind of begs the question. So either her parents died in some kind of incident that S.H.I.E.L.D. took care of, and she was the one who found her. Maybe she was the daughter of a villain, a supervillain, or someone who was a monster or something crazy that they took down, and then rather than have her be put into the S.H.I.E.L.D. system, an agent died trying to get her into a more normal life. Perhaps her mother was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent working undercover and was, sleeping with someone, maybe a gifted that she shouldn't have. And rather than have her daughter be tested her whole life in a laboratory somewhere, try to give her a normal life. There's a lot of intriguing possibilities coming off of this, and we really want to hear your theories. I feel like Melinda isn't her mother at this point. If there's another woman in the picture,
I was bummed about that.
I am so bummed about that.
I almost,
Mama May.
I kept thinking like maybe Matt's right. Maybe she is gonna be. They're gonna reveal her as Sky's mom, and then they showed
Three
that photo,
favorite
and I
words
was
in
like,
the world. Maybe
bum.
Matt's right. Music.
I'll never say them again.
You say that now.
Well, while Megan and I were watching earlier, we paused because we wanted to see what was on the paper, and we had big screen in the back, and it was a St. Agnes orphanage paper, and it was more medical files that were about Sky. It said something with the infant was found, and then like black line, and then it's expressing minimal blank, no blank, and
Oh, so they didn't have the unredacted version.
But it was stuff no, it was all, half of it was blacked out, but it did say if you want to contact a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, please contact blank.
For more information.
But it was all a medical file on the baby. So somebody was testing her for something.
It was an intake form. Yeah.
And then when we have Melinda going through the papers towards the end of the episode, we pause it again to get a better look at the photos that she was looking at of supposedly the agent who dropped her off.
Agent 16.
Agent 16.
I Googled it, and apparently I need to get a little bit better at trying to find things.
Well, that could be anything. Did you do Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agent 16?
I did. And I put a bunch of different things in there.
Nothing yet.
That's fine. We'll find out
I gotta sharpen my skills.
Maybe their SEO isn't very good.
Yeah. No, I'm just thinking it just made me think of Item 37, but I don't know that we've ever heard of it, Agent 16. So we'll find out more about that. Lots of great comedy this week when we pair up the hilarious stylings of Sky and Simmons. Sky Simmons. And
maybe we should be shipping them instead.
Listen, you just caused you just blew 1,000 teenage minds who had not even considered it.
They considered it.
I was joking around while watching because Ward and Fitz at one point is like, I'm not leaving you. I'm not leaving you either. And I go, kiss.
Kiss.
It's a joke.
Kiss. We want you to kiss. Many kisses.
And
I will always be your asshole. Did you mute me?
Steven, come on.
Did you mute me?
I thought you would chime in.
You sounded better muted, though. No, I didn't mean that as like a stab. I meant that as like it was too loud through your mic.
Okay. Thank you for complimenting my natural ability to project.
Tuesday night karaoke here at AfterBuzz.
Oh my god.
So much of it.
I love karaoke.
So much.
I love karaoke. But we're not about that right now. No, just like never ever give Simmons an undercover position. She's not good at it.
Nope.
She cracks under pressure.
I love her quote. I love men that are about my height and a little heavier than me.
You have a beautiful head.
Some serious flirting she's got there.
Yeah,
I'm going to use that one next time. You have a beautiful head.
Thank you. Well, I never. When I was walking up here, I was like, what is this girl doing? She's touching a panel she shouldn't be touching, but, I've never noticed how insightful you were. My head is my favorite. Is my favorite attribute.
Well, she got away with it, I think, longer than she should have.
Right.
Probably because she is this cute young girl with a
cute as
little
a
British
bunny.
accent. Oh, I'm sorry, sir, your head is beautiful.
And he's like, oh, call me Jasper.
Exactly. He was liking this. He was like, oh, maybe I'll get a number out of this.
She's like a young, slightly nerdier Elizabeth Hurley.
Yeah.
I would say.
Or a cuter Mandy Moore.
I'll have to look again. She's more tall and willowy than Mandy Moore.
She is adorable and totally unfit to go against protocol because she loves meeting expectations. People makes her feel good doing what people tell her to do.
And making the world's most dangerous sandwich.
And it was a beautiful sandwich. We showed the pictures. It was truly awesome. If you're making your own aioli, kudos. Okay. I feel like we've covered our whole maid cast. We got a lot of news and gossip this week, so let's jump in.
AfterBuzz TV News.
So the big news this week, and we can talk about this at length, is that Netflix has made a groundbreaking deal with Marvel Studios to produce and release 5 original series for Netflix in 2014, 2015, starting with Daredevil. All the what?
You don't know that's quiet. I have a bad taste in my mouth.
Oh no!
Hey! I'm gonna stand. We were talking about movies earlier. I'm gonna stand up. The director's cut is actually good. They cut a half an hour from that movie that actually added quite a bit to the plot.
The director's cut is better. It's not a good movie, but Daredevil is a great superhero. Daredevil: Born Again is definitely my top 10 graphic novels of all time.
Steven is shaking his head now.
What?
Okay, I'll agree with you on graphic novels. I didn't hear that part.
Yes. Daredevil: Born Again, one of the top 10 graphic novels on my list. Absolutely love that storyline. Excited to see him. We also have Iron Fist, who, if you started reading his books, like around when Civil War happened a few years ago, they got really, really great. I'm trying to remember who. Luke Cage. Luke Cage, and there was one more. Does anyone remember?
Jessica Johnson.
Jessica Jones.
Yes, Jessica Jones.
And all 4 of their series are going to lead up to, my voice is cracking, are going to lead up to a show called The Defenders, which, like, there could have been a better title for that. It's like, it makes it sound like low-rent Avengers.
Yeah.
A little bit.
But this is all building up to more things. Just the fact that they're further expanding the Marvel universe is wonderful, and the fact that they're finding these other outlets to do it. Netflix is becoming, a really great place for original content. House of Cards, so much. There's a lot on Netflix.
Does it make
Orange
you guys?
is the New Black is a great show.
I was reading a review about this, and one of it said, does it kind of make the whole magic behind Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. less now because, first of all, ratings have been, slightly decreasing each episode.
Yeah.
And now with Netflix taking over with it, is it going to make the fact that, you can't just go to ABC to get this Marvel universe. You can go to Netflix now. Is that going to hurt, or is that going to help it?
Well,
yeah, there's a cheapen it.
It depends on how they go about it, because with, it premiering on Netflix, that allows them to do stuff. Not that they'll go too dark, I don't think,
The shows will likely be grittier and maybe aimed at a higher age range.
Are they, though, with Disney's hands on? I mean, that was my concern. My concern was just, ABC has their hands on S.H.I.E.L.D., I feel, and people were complaining about the cheese factor of the show in the beginning, and then there's another, Disney and Lucasfilm. Some people were skeptical about that. I'm just skeptical about, like, how the tone of the shows are going to be.
I think it's safe to be cautiously optimistic, though, because everyone was skeptical when Disney initially bought Marvel. Everyone was like, wait, what? And I think that with the Avengers coming out and, just S.H.I.E.L.D. getting better and better, even though the ratings might be going down a little bit. I think that, they know, for the most part, they know what they're doing. They know how to put on a good show. They know how to make a good movie.
Here's my take. So, even though Disney owns Marvel, you take a look at the tone of the Marvel movies that are coming out, which are all being produced post-merger. They're all darker. We're going to be moving to a little more mature territory as the audience for these films starts to grow up with them. But here's the thing. ABC, the fact that the show is airing on ABC, to me, dictates Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D's tone far more than Disney owning it. They're giving Marvel plenty of room to make content that's successful. They trust Kevin Feige implicitly. He's been very successful in his job. And I think, these characters, these Hell's Kitchen characters, naturally lend themselves to a grittier tone. So whether or not we're going to be seeing nudity, I don't think that that's going to happen necessarily.
I wouldn't expect
It's not going to be, I think, as graphic as, say, the majority of pay cable. But I would say, the types of shows that wind up on FX, I could see them having that kind of a tone, and it's going to vary from show to show.
Horror Story.
Maybe not Horror Story, but
which I love, but no.
More grounded drama. But in regards to your question, Kristen, which I feel like we all skirted, and I'm sorry about that.
Oh, sorry.
There is a problem there in that it does make it less special. It's not the only show on TV anymore. However, it is the only show to be directly spawned from the film franchise and to directly feed back into it. And I think we're going to see far more crossovers like we're going to get next week with the Thor crossover. We're going to see far more of the events of the movie universe affecting Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. versus these other series, which are probably going to draw more heavily from the comics, at least to start. I think that they exist in the same universe as Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D., but they're ultimately a different animal. And other news that broke today is that a rumor that Drew Goddard, who was a writer for Buffy the Vampire Slayer and Angel, he directed and co-wrote Cabin in the Woods with Joss Whedon, may be in fact running or writing a significant portion of Daredevil's first season.
Oh, okay. I can get on board with that then.
Yeah. Cool. So that's exciting news.
I just feel like whenever we hear Daredevil, we're like Ben Affleck.
No, but
I think that was the
And then you
with the
start thinking
Batman.
about Batman, and then you start getting angry.
No.
Hopefully Batman will
Here's the
salvage
thing.
that image.
Here's the thing. In that movie, you look at all the things that were wrong with the Daredevil movie. Ben Affleck's performance was actually one of the things that worked for me. Honestly.
I liked him. I thought he was a good Matt Murdock.
Yeah.
I just kept laughing at Colin Farrell in a great way.
I want a costume.
Yeah. He was terrible. The script was all over the place. The direction was terrible. That friggin' seesaw scene at the playground. But Ben Affleck's performance wasn't that bad, and this will ultimately be a far better way to deliver a Daredevil story than a movie. He's a great character, but in terms of like box office appeal, it's a little harder to draw it that way. It's not a movie play. To me, a cable series or a cable equivalent series is the way to go. Oof, my voice.
He's a darker character too, so
yes.
It'll be fun to see what Drew does with it.
Yeah. Matt, you're very convincing.
Thank you. Well, I'm passionate and I'm intelligent and I have a level of insight.
You have such a beautiful head.
And I have a very, very beautiful head. Other news stories from this week. I'm trying to think. Next week we get our Thor crossover, yes. And we have a Coulson episode coming up after that. What else was dropped this week? Anything?
Maria Hill.
Oh yeah, it's confirmed that Kobe Smulders will be Maria Hill in the Avengers 2.
And confirmed officially that Elizabeth Olsen is playing Scarlet Witch.
Yes.
She gave an interview today. Yeah,
that's cool.
Which is really, really great that they get a couple people from the X-Men universe. So granted,
they
haven't
can't be
been
called mutants, and you can't refer to their dad at all. Magneto is their father.
But I like Quicksilver, so I'm excited.
Cool.
They could just be like he who shall not be named.
Yeah.
Gosh, my dad.
We don't talk about our dad. All I'll say is he has a magnetic personality. Yeah. Ooh, drink it in. That sucked. It sucked so hard. All right. I think it's time we get into predictions. Whoa.
And now, you're AfterBuzz.
Did someone use a localized EMP on our sound effects board? I was skipping a little bit.
The beacon is loaded.
All right. Joyce, I'm going to start with you, and we're going to go down the table. Predictions for next week? Predictions for anything that's coming up before Christmas?
I just think more of the Fitz and Simmons, cute romantic development. Mm-hmm. I definitely predict that for sure. So.
Okay.
Yeah.
I predict. Well, I saw Thor twice. I know I talked about my love for it. I dragged my boyfriend to it again on Monday. But I think we see like this god, item that looked like a some sort of weapon.
Oh yeah. Can you walk
right?
us? Can you walk me through the scenes after I wasn't able to watch them? So what, like the scenes from next week?
It? No, I'm not.
The preview for next week.
Oh, that.
Yeah.
I thought you meant from the movie.
Oh no, and I'm seeing the movie on Thursday.
Stay at the movie and watch. Stay through the complete end.
Yeah, there's something at the end of the credits.
Okay. But the end of it is they find this. What did you say it was?
A staff.
A staff of some sort that they said came from probably Asgard, and Ward gets a hold of it. and it's kind of making people angry.
Ooh.
And he looks even more powerful than before. So I was wondering,
is it the staff from the Avengers that was making all the guys all edgy?
It didn't look like that. It looked almost like something one of the Warriors had, or
it
maybe
had like
it's
an inscription on it or
something. Something, who knows, from Loki probably. But during the movie, and this isn't that big of a spoiler, but there's a convergence of all the different kingdoms coming together, and you could enter different worlds on Earth, and I'm imagining something fell through and didn't make its way back. Which is very possible.
Okay.
Very, very possible. If you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about.
All right. Megan.
Well, at the very end of this episode, we had Coulson, putting in an official call to get information on what happened to him, and
finding out he doesn't have clearance.
Yeah, he doesn't have clearance. He's like, I'm Section 8. What is this? And the person's like, well, if you want, I can put in a formal request to Director Fury. And he's like, no, thank you. And so, and we know already from the get-go that obviously something's happened and that S.H.I.E.L.D. is keeping stuff from him. So I think with the episodes coming up, I don't think we'll get completely what happened, but I think we'll get a little bit more of it, and I think that's going to end up causing a lot of friction with him and S.H.I.E.L.D., along with him running his team, the way he wants to run it. He's going to be stepping on a lot of toes, and that, I can imagine in the future, will mean that at some point they'll probably have to go rogue for a while. I'm looking further down the line.
Yeah.
Do you think this also means that it brings another Samuel L. Jackson cameo? The fact that, they have to be tapping whatever call it is and knowing who's asking for this information. Do you think that's something that would also happen?
Definitely think that he'll come back at some point. I don't think that any of the people like Maria Hill or Samuel L. Jackson, I don't think they're actually going to come back for like a full episode until maybe the season finale or maybe even next season. Not till like a big arc starts happening. Like we get like a serious arch villain or an overarching opposing force.
Okay. Here's what I'm thinking, and I like a lot of your points. I like everything that everyone's brought up. But, so we're on episode 7. The way, for those of you who don't study TV theory or, really think about it, the way that a 22-episode season of television is structured is you're given a 13-episode order, and then if it's successful, you get a back 9. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. got that back 9 to make a full 22. So all along, even before they got a full season, they were building towards something big in episode 13. We are 6 episodes away. So I'm going to say if we find out in episode 9 something significant about Coulson, and we have this tension with him already in the way he's running his team, I think they take his team away from him sometime either in an episode or 2 before episode 13, or that's the cliffhanger at the end of episode 13 at mid-season, is they take the team away from him, and now they've got a new commanding officer, maybe Agent Blake, and they're trying to get out from under him. We still have some supervillains locked up in the vault that have yet to be sprung.
And you have Agent Hand now thrown in there, who obviously can't be trusted, and people who know the comics know that she was involved with Norman Osborn.
Exactly.
So...
And that she might...
I'm hoping for a Willem Dafoe cameo. It's not likely.
Fingers crossed.
Hoping
Fingers
against
crossed.
hope. Yeah. But definitely we got a lot of drama building and all of our relationships. And it's a countdown to who kisses who first. And we'll see who that is. All right. Joy Zajuri, where can the people find you?
You can find me on Twitter at JAjouri. That's JAJOURI. And Instagram at Iroja, IRUOJA.
And you can find me, Kristen Carroll 13 on Twitter.
You can find me at The Menguin on Twitter.
All right, and you can find me on Twitter at Matt Lieberman. That's MATTLIEBERMAN. You can also find me here on AfterBuzz TV on the Sons of Anarchy and Sleepy Hollow after shows. Sleepy Hollow with Mr. Stephen Lemieux. And it's a great show. If you have not checked it out, you totally should. I'm going to be announcing new shows pretty soon, so check my Twitter. And Doctor Who 50th anniversary is coming up in 2 weeks. So we will be definitely doing a recap for that special. Thank you, everyone, for listening or watching, and we will see you all next week. Good night.
From executive producers Maria Menounos, Kevin Undergaro, Phil Svitek, and the entire AfterBuzz TV staff, we would like to thank you for listening to the AfterBuzz TV Network. To watch or listen to other after shows and post comments or questions, be sure to visit AfterBuzzTV.com. I'm Sir Richard Wentworth, and this has been a presentation of AfterBuzz TV.
Buzz you later.
The views expressed herein are those of the hosts only and do not necessarily reflect the views of AfterBuzz TV or its owners or principals.